Good, I go anywhere.
December 8th.
That's good. That song? I heard that song before. I think you've sung it before. Picturing leaders. That's a Grim Reaper song, is it? If it is, I'm scared I'm leaving now.
We see each other.
You brought so much levity to this situation. It's good to have you here.
I think Mike is on today.
Yeah.
So,
Nardini?
yeah, so
Yeah.
he can only speak to that.
What's on his wall? Oh, is that a board? Looks like he didn't paint a strip in it.
Is that a board?
Yeah, sorry,
No,
the
it's
ladies
not
haven't
actually.
officially got the wall completely painted.
Oh, it's going, oh, yeah.
He's
I
in
don't think that would
the
be
conference
board.
room.
He's in his conference room and it's not all the
Conference
way
room
done
doesn't
yet.
have carpet yet.
Okay,
So
sorry. I didn't,
Way to point
sorry.
out the obvious.
we'll make sure it's
Sorry.
done today for you.
But
okay?
I came to the conclusion it was a whiteboard next to the door.
It is not. It's a partially painted wall
Okay,
in
sorry.
a room that did not need to be finished before Wednesday.
Okay,
I'm going to unmute us now.
thank you.
Alright.
Sorry.
All right, Emily, are we on?
Yes, we're on.
Keisha, are we on? We're
Yep.
recording?
Yep.
All right. Technology is on. Very good. Let's call this meeting, regular meeting of the Marion County Board of Supervisors to order. Where's Jake?
It's Danny
It's
today.
Danny.
Oh, Danny.
She's right here.
Danny.
She's
is
in
on
the
there.
mask.
Downer,
Here.
Mark Ramey,
Well, I think I'm here.
Steve McCombs.
Here.
Would entertain a motion on this morning's agenda.
Make motion, we approve today's agenda.
Second.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye.
All right. Well, Danny, since you're in for Jake, any communications received?
not that I'm aware of.
All right, very good. Move on to public comments. This is the portion of our agenda the public can speak on items not contained on this morning's agenda. The board cannot act on those items, but they could be topics for future Board of Supervisor meetings. Are there any public comments, items not on this morning's agenda?
Hey, Mark, can
Missy?
you guys hear me out there?
Yes.
Okay, well, I have a different computer. I just wanted to verify you could hear me okay.
Okay. Well, we can hear you, Missy. Sound check is good. And I think that's all we got. All right, moving on. We'll entertain a motion on this morning's consent agenda.
Make motion, we approve today's consent agenda.
Second.
Ramey,
Aye?
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
All right, on to business. First item is appointments to the Pella Airport Zoning Board of Adjustment. We have a 4-year term, 2-year term up. We discussed this, I believe, in our last meeting. It might be 2 meetings ago, I don't remember. And we had a discussion and a request from City Administrator Mike Nardini to have a couple of individuals who are already on our Board of Adjustment on this board. We did some legal research. Ed, the result of that research was we could do this without any conflicts of interest or violations between boards, correct?
Correct. There is nothing that prohibits people serving in dual capacity, although it may not be the best practice if we have additional people, that there is the potential for the appearance of impropriety, which of course is always problematic. But in and of itself, black letter law, we aren't violating any law if we do this.
Very good. Thank you. And Mike, I noticed you're on this morning with us. Appreciate you joining us. These 2 individuals, you're still supportive of joining this board?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and what we're requesting is the appointment of these 2 individuals to the Airport Zoning Board of Adjustment. It is important to note that the Airport Zoning Board of Adjustment is a 5-member board under our code that requires appointments by 2 individuals of the Pella City Council and also 2 individuals appointed by the Marion County Supervisors. And the zoning board of adjustment, the primary role is to also enforce what we have is a height limitation ordinance for areas that are surround the Pella Municipal Airport. And primarily what they'll be considering is any potential variance applications that we may have submitted to the board. So with these two appointments, we'll be at 4 members. At the first meeting, the board will actually elect their 5th member to serve on the board. And it is important to note the reason we are making the recommendation on these 2 individuals is they do have experience on the City of Pella's Board of Adjustment. Merlin Rolfs has served on our Board of Adjustment since 2003. Mr. Vince Nospis since 2008, and they are very experienced, which is important when you're considering variance applications from a zoning perspective, and that is the reason for our recommendation.
So, Mike, for Vince and Merlin, you've got a 2-year term and a 4-year term. Have we had any discussions on which term each of these individuals wants to have, or is it?
I think either one would be fine. This is based off guidance up from the city attorney that stated, and what we did for our 2 appointments is we staggered the terms, and under state code for the initial appointments, you can't stagger the term. So either one is fine with either term.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any discussion, questions from the board?
No, I don't have any.
Okay. So we have a 2-year term and a 4-year term, probably should be specific in our appointments. Vince, I'm gonna not get is it Nasaman?
I have a question.
Oh, yes, Steve.
Hey, Mike, is this Board of Adjustment, is this for the current airport or is it for the proposed regional airport?
Very good question. This is for the current Pella Municipal Airport. So it's located on the western edge of our community, right at exit, near the exit 44 on Highway 163. So this is the current Pella Municipal Airport.
Okay, thank you, Mike, for clearing that up for me.
Thank you. Any other question or discussion? So we have Vince Nasaman would entertain a motion for the 4-year term appointment to the Pella Regional Airport Zoning Board of Adjustment.
I'll make the motion for Vince for the 4-year term.
Second.
McCombs,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye. Next, I would entertain a motion for Merlin Rolfs to take the 2-year term on same board.
Make the motion. Merlin goes for the 2-year term.
Second.
McCombs,
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye, very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Next item is discussion on a Class E liquor license renewal for New Star in Pella. Is there any comment? Ed, I don't know if Jason is on. Any issues with this renewal? Anything we should be aware of?
I think we've had these discussions in the past.
To Troy, the sheriff's office, we don't have any objections to it.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Troy. Thank you.
And I think we've had these discussions in the past and they were going to be
Yeah, no issues.
looked at and no issues, and so unless an issue come up.
Very good. Well, with that, I would entertain a motion on this liquor license renewal.
Make the motion to approve the liquor license for New Star Pella.
Second.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye,
Johnner,
Aye.
very good. We have a site expansion discussion for Sanctuary Gardens. It's been an agenda item previously. Missy?
Yes, Mark. So we did receive the letter that you have on the board there for an extension to 55.31-9, which is the expiration date of the approval of a site plan. Without a formal extension, the site plan would expire after 1 year. Due to some complications with the project, they are requesting the 6-month extension of the site plan.
Yeah, and as the letter indicates, there's some court action proceeding between the parties, so that's the main driver for the extension, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
This was approved on January 14th, 2020, so we are getting close to that 1 year.
Yep. Board, any discussion or questions for Missy?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, would entertain a motion on this extension request.
Make motion to approve the site plan extension for Sanctuary Gardens.
Second.
Ramey,
Aye,
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
very good, thank you. Next, we have a GIS and website update. Andrew?
Well, good morning, board.
Good
I
morning.
appreciate you having us this morning, and I first wanted to introduce you guys formally to Nicole Skippers. She is our new GIS administrator, as well as some other roles that she's going to be doing. But
Welcome, Nicole.
yeah,
Yes, welcome.
So I think it's the first board meeting she's been to, so this is kind of interesting for her. And so yeah, so when you guys asked for a GIS update, I thought I'd sneak in a website update as well on there too, since Nicole's going to be doing some of that as well.
Yay!
So starting with the website, our current platform, if you don't know this already, is provided to us by Solutions, and it is a pretty dated platform. It's an old front page technology that is well past its end of life. And Solutions actually did call me a couple weeks ago and let me know that we basically are on the clock to replace that site. So the technology is out of date, end of life, and we all kind of know that it needs updating anyway. So we've basically been given a year clock to get off of this site, either with Solutions or another vendor. So we know the site's dated, and so what I have done now that some of these projects that have really consumed a lot of my time are starting to wrap up, now that we're moved back and things, I've made kind of a website vendor platform evaluation team of some key users of the websites, and especially ones that have a lot of data on our websites. And then I've asked Keisha from the board to also be on that team. So I think what the goal now is over kind of the next month to try to line up schedules to start interviewing some potential vendors and platforms that could be our next solution for our website. So I've got a few of them in mind that I've already kind of narrowed it down to 3 or 4 different options. And so what I'd like to do is sit that team down with those vendors and kind of have them pitch their product to us. And once that is done, if the team comes up with a consensus, then we would bring that to the board for review and decide what we want to do from there. So then the board would have the option of starting something right away, first of the year type of situation, or if we wanted to budget for it and start first of the fiscal year. So those are some options that we would be looking into and presenting to the full board. So that's kind of the update on the website. Basically, we're going to start on it now. Now that we're done with the courthouse, pretty much moved all the way in now. Technology's mostly wrapping up there. So any questions or comments on the website stuff?
Oh, sounds like a good plan, Andrew.
Very good. Okay, so let's move on to the GIS portion of the update. So first off, when I kind of took over this role, I sat down with the board members and also with a lot of the users and department heads, just to kind of see how the GIS system is being used and how maybe we could use it a little bit better also going forward. And I kind of came up with a couple different goals for the GIS program. So the first one was to just continue to improve the integrity of the GIS. So GIS is very data driven. It's very specific on the data, and if the data is not good, the GIS system is pretty pointless. So the integrity of the data is kind of first and foremost. I think it needs to be very, very good data. It needs to have good integrity to it. So that's the number one goal. And then the second goal is to improve the functionality of the GIS system to both our internal users and departments, as well as the public, by implementing new features and functions such as portal, survey 123, ArcGIS Online. There's lots of different things that we could be, some features that we could be implementing that different departments could be using. Things that have come up over the years that we just never really took advantage of. And kind of a sub goal of that primary goal is to kind of help departments with those projects that they might have by making use of some of these newer technologies that are available to us. So that's kind of the goals that I kind of set forth for the department. And then after we got Nicole on board here, I've kind of interviewed and talked to, her and I have both talked to most of the departments and users about what we can do kind of from there.
So you got some positive feedback from the department heads on how they could use this system?
Yes, we kind of have a little bit of a lineup actually of departments wanting to use some of these new features. So we're kind of trying to prioritize which ones we start with, you know. So and I think a lot of departments are just kind of waiting to figure out, oh, what do these do, and how we can use them. So we've kind of got an idea of how we're going to proceed with some of these features and things. So with those goals in mind, what have we done so far, I guess? Basically, the first thing is, you know, Nicole had to get up to speed on just the daily functions of the GIS, because there's a lot of daily activities that need to get taken care of too. So, you know, every year the ag land tool has to get run for the assessor's office to value the agricultural properties. So she learned that system this year and got that going. She has been doing some work with the Beacon website. That is kind of our main forward-facing history.
Move back to that, what is the ags? Is that data is provided by the state, or? That
data is our data, but the assessor, I believe, and you might have to help me with this one, but it helps the assessor value the agricultural properties based on the valuations, and then that sets the taxation on it.
Okay, I know, because we had some discussion about that when we first started this, how that affected the assessor. So okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tool that is provided to us through Schneider, and there's kind of some complex formulas, but it also ties into the GIS as well.
Okay.
Okay. So fixing and maintaining the Beacon website. We've added some new features to our Beacon website and layers on there, so people can click and turn on and off different layers, and that site gets hit a lot. I think it's close to 1 million times a year is what that site gets hit.
No doubt.
So it's appraisers, realtors use it a lot, just the general public. Our staff, our office use it a lot for anything and everything. So,
how often are those aerials updated on Beacon? That, you know, I think that's why a lot of people look at that for the aerials, but yeah. I don't know. Do we pay to have them flown every so often, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yes, we do pay a pretty hefty fee for that, and that comes out of the assessor's office. So she's kind of in charge of how often that gets flown. But I think we have, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, Jake maybe would know, but I think it's every 2 or 3 years is the contract for that.
So there's always a lag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and they like to do it in the spring, so
Right.
that the leaves are off the trees,
Right.
so you can see. Yeah, so that's a great question, Steve. So, and we've added some other features to that Beacon website, so that there's some zoning information up there now. There's recently, actually just this week, we had some issues with the road labels and they got fixed and things like that. So that's a lot of work as well, maintaining that site. And then Nicole and Missy worked on a large project to get our 911 addressing into the, what is it, Jeff? Like the code, the 95th percentile of correct, which allowed us to apply for and receive the GIS grant through the state. So there was some things there that needed to get updated and corrected, and that got done as well. So that's kind of just the general day-to-day stuff.
Okay.
That she's been working on and been doing a fantastic job on keeping up with that. So then thinking about our goals a little bit and how we can utilize some more of these features, we looked at how do we get to that point to be able to utilize these features. And our system was more of a kind of a personal geodatabase system where each user had their own files. And each user was working on their own GIS information. There was some base map information, but each user kind of had their own stuff in different departments. And that was actually causing some problems for us. Sometimes users would be looking at the same layer at the same time, and if they would be trying to edit that same layer at the same time, that would lock people out. And actually sometimes it would even cause some data corruption for us, and we'd have to go in and restore that file and things. So that was causing some problems for us. So the fix for that and the next step into being able to implement some of these features is to put everything onto a server. So with a SQL backend.
Okay.
So that was a very large migration to put all those personal geodatabases and file geodatabases into the SQL and make it so that all the users could now tie in and access that system all at the same time without locking each other out. So that's step one to being able to do that, and we have done that now. So that is all done. We did that, 1st of October? Something like that.
October 6th.
Yep. So that is done. All the users at the same time to be able to access that server had to have their software updated on their computers to a newer version of software. So we did those both at the same time, and so now the users are on that and it's working great, and that helps us function a lot better and be able to share data back and forth too. So that's done. So that we also, so we upgraded the ArcMap front end. So the next step was to install enterprise software on top of that. So we got the server done. Now we can start layering some of these things on top of it. So we put in the enterprise software, and we're going to show you one of the new features that we've already turned on already, called Portal. But what this software does is it allows us to grow. So it allows us to start adding the field collection, the survey 1, 2, 3. There's all kinds of other potential options, and Nicole's going to be working with departments on some of the features and saying, hey, I think this feature might work really good for you. Would you like us to look into that and see if that would work for you? So once we have the enterprise in place, which we do now we can start layering these features on top of it.
So this is already in the program that we have, correct? Okay. So it's not any additional cost. It's already in the program. It's just turning those things on.
No, they're in the notes there that I gave you. It does have she did mention that some of these features might have a license cost to them.
Okay.
So we kind of have to weigh that if we want to pay that license cost or not, if there is one. Some of them don't have a license cost, we just get it.
So these license costs would be department specific?
They would be organizational specific.
Okay.
So if there was a cost to a feature, and again, don't really know without researching it yet.
Okay.
And we decided we wanted it, we would buy that license, and everybody would have it.
Okay, have break it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Good question. So, some other things so that's kind of where we've done from the upgrading path so far. So we're kind of to that point now where we can really start layering features on, and we've already kind of put Portal on there. And I've got it, well, I'll just show you a screenshot of that here pretty soon. The other thing, we had a pretty massive issue with our corruption issue with our annotation layer. And that is something that is, if you go on Beacon, you see, I mean, the annotations Ann puts in there, they're on every parcel. So we had an issue with that. I think there was, 16,000. It was a lot of annotations that had to be fixed. So we got that fixed already, and that's all back up there and running. So so that's pretty much what we've done so far. And I guess I'd entertain any questions for what you'd like to see from here. I mean, we've got some future plans and stuff there, but.
So I'm assuming that we're getting positive feedback from the departments.
Yeah, I feel like the departments are really happy with the progress we've made so far.
Good, that's good to hear.
So this is an example of the portal, and we just picked 3 maps to put up there now. Basically, we can publish any map to this now. So I guess what I would classify, we have 2 different types of users in the county right now. And this is internal only, by the way. This is not for the public. This is just county employees would have access to this. But right now, we have 2 different types of users. What I would call one of them is like a power user. And they're the person that's got like the ARC map installed on their computer. They've got the Esri software installed on their computer. They're in there editing every day, all day, every day. That's kind of our power user. But then we also have some users that are really underserved right now that maybe just need a map for a specific function or a specific project that they're working on. So what the portal allows us to do is either Nicole or somebody else, another department power user, will be able to publish a specific map for that function that they're working on. And anybody that has access to this website, which is internal to us, so anybody on our network, can get to this website and access a published map. So we've published 3 maps there. And you can go ahead and click on one of those maps if you want to, Emily.
So in this process, and you could annotate without.
Yep. So we can set this up to just view only. We can set this up to be able to edit, and that if that user has editing rights, they can then go in and actually edit these maps right here on this website. It's a very simplified version of GIS that doesn't require software to be installed, doesn't require a whole lot of specialized training. We can sit down with that user for a short period of time and get them functioning on whatever it is that they're trying to do on something like this versus hours and hours of training to learn the ArcMap product. So this is live now, and as people need maps, I know there's already been some requests for specific, I need a map of a specific thing, so I know the engineer's office has asked for some things like that. We can publish a map just like this, and they can go in and manipulate it as they want for that particular project that they're working on.
That's good.
So then when I ask for a specific map and then I make changes here, I'm not changing the actual data, I'm just changing what's on this map, right?
We can set it up that way, I believe.
So like for me, if I.
But I
don't-
mean,
I'm
well,
not a
there's
geodesis,
different
so-
layers in here, right? So
Okay.
we wouldn't want you changing the location of those cemeteries there.
But if I wanted to add notes or something to the map just for my use.
We can make a layer like that,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So, Andrew, this is something that we currently did not have before.
No.
And do you feel that this is just going to keep building?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
for like planning and zoning, so she could look up, ultimately when new surveys are done or whatever, do we go back and put any of that stuff in? So when you have marks on, or, for plotting of ground or anything like that, do you get what I'm asking? In the future, would that be something that would be entered in by a surveyor, or Missy would be,
Yeah, so we're already doing that in ArcMap today.
Okay,
But like, here's an example, go back into that
Sorry.
cornerstone map there. I know that there's a project that I believe the engineer's office would like to do, and Ann as well, would like to get our cornerstones all updated correctly.
Yeah.
And actually, goes back to the integrity of our data, right? Because these are the ones that we know about right now, which is not near all of them, obviously. Well, the map, to true up your map to make it really perfect, you measure off these cornerstones. Well, if we don't know exactly where all the cornerstones are, it's hard to make your map perfect. But if we do know where all them are, then over time we can straighten the map out and get all the parcels.
We'll be able to adjust our parcel lines.
Exactly.
Right.
So this is a project right here that, over time, technology has gotten a lot better with GPS and things, where we can get very accurate with locating all those cornerstones.
See, that's the trouble we've had in the past. People look at on Beacon and they look, well, that guy's garage is on my
Yeah, oh,
property.
yeah,
Well, no, it's actually not.
Yeah, what's happened over time is, over the years, our flight data has gotten so much better. And so now when you look at the Beacon site and you look at your parcel line, before you couldn't really tell because the imagery wasn't all that great. But now the imagery is so good that you're like, well, wait a minute, that parcel line's not in the right spot. Well, it's not that, it's that things are askew a little bit. Right. So that's where one of my goals was, to continue to improve the integrity of the data and just keeping that getting better and better.
Good.
Well, it sounds exciting.
It does.
I mean, really, seriously, I've been in it this long enough. I know exactly what the parcel line. When people look at maps and roads, and then you got to go explain to them, no, you got to get boots on the ground to figure out where it's at.
Yeah. Very good. Well, Andrew, appreciate the overview. I mean, we've got data quality, quantifying our data, using it for operational purposes, public access, making it something that's understandable and easily accessible, both internal and external. The other part of technology, when we think of the technology plan, is using technology for operational efficiencies. And we've already done a little bit of that with our COVID adjustments that we've had to make. And so it'll be interesting to see as we go forward how we can continue to deploy technology to help us operate in a more efficient way. So I look forward to that continued evolution as you two work on these projects. So I appreciate the overview.
I'm glad that the department head or the departments are having a positive outlook on this, because I think it'd be great to really, when they get into this, how innovative they can be with stuff that they can do.
Yeah, like I said, we have a bit of a lineup of people wanting this stuff, so they know it's coming. They're excited for it. So it's just a matter of getting it implemented.
Oh, thank you
Thank
to you both. I mean, I do. Yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate everything you're doing, and
And welcome, Nicole, again.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Nicole, you come from California, is that correct?
Originally Canada, but I came here from California.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Entertain a
Nobody hold
motion to
that
close
against me.
discussion on this item.
Make motion to close discussion.
Second.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye. Next, we have a proposed employee holiday, Christmas Eve, to discuss. Not on our current schedule of holidays. It would be an add to our current employee holiday list.
Yeah.
Is there discussion? Is there a motion? Is there?
Well, I know we're kind of doing it haphazardly now, and I'd like to make it so everybody's doing the same thing. You know, because we get confused on who's, they're letting people off at certain hours and everything, and it gets confusing. And I think I'd like to reward the people that's really gave their all in this, during this COVID thing, and also the 2 moves we've made. So I'm in favor of it.
I'd like to also add to that, and I'd also like to, there's, all employees have stepped up, public health has done. If we can give somebody, a little bit longer weekend, yeah, so I'm definitely for this.
Okay. Well, I think as we move back into the courthouse, and that has gone extremely well.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, that's kudos to Chris and the facilities and maintenance department, and to all the departments that had to move.
Yes.
That had to move out of the courthouse, set up temporary operations, come back to the courthouse, deal with a major election, deal with all of the operational changes, deal with COVID in the midst of all this. This has been one heck of a year for
Yes.
everybody. So I think this is a good way to show some of that appreciation, certainly not all of it, and would be in favor of it. Is there a motion to approve this as an additional employee holiday for Christmas Eve?
The only question I have, are we doing it just for this year, or do we plan on doing it?
I'll tell you what, let's
in
take care
perpetuity?
of this one, and then we'll have a list of
Okay.
holidays coming up when we do our
Exactly.
meeting in
Alright.
January.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll make the motion to approve the Christmas Eve all-day holiday for
Second.
2020.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye?
Johnner,
Aye.
Very good, thank you. Next, we have
Thank you,
resolution. Oh,
Thank you.
Yes,
oh,
thank you.
Our pleasure, well deserved. Resolution 2020-78, this is a bridge replacement contract award. Is there anybody speaking on this?
Scott Tyler. So we had a bid letting, it was actually delayed a couple of days due to the DOT's website being down, but we did receive 3 bids for the replacement of Pierce Drive Bridge. All 3 bids were under our estimate, with the low bid coming in at 17.5% below estimate,
Okay.
which sounds like due to pandemic, many projects have been delayed and contractors are just starting to bid work again. So we got in at the right time because they're fairly hungry. And the low bid was Herberger Construction from Indianola, which we have worked with numerous times and have no issues there. So I would recommend award of the contract to Herberger Construction for the amount listed there in the resolution.
Very good, thank you, Tyler.
Thank
Any
you, Tyler.
discussion or questions from the board?
Tyler, do they know, sorry, I see here now you have a start date, so that's what I was wondering.
Late start date of August next year.
Yep.
2021.
I don't have any
All
other
right.
questions.
Very good, is there a motion?
Make motion to approve resolution 2020-78.
Second.
Ramey,
Aye?
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Very good, thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
Updates, Mr. McCombs?
Well, the only update I have is to thank everybody for the move, I guess. I mean, we've all been working pretty hard to make it happen. And I just appreciate everybody's efforts. Also, I have a DCAT meeting at 1:30 this afternoon, but no, everything's pretty pro quo.
All right, thank you, Steve. Mrs. Johnner.
No committee updates or board meeting updates, other than, again, I'll just say thank you. Thank you to all of you. I mean, I don't want to list all the departments because I don't want to forget somebody, but honestly, it takes everyone pitching in, and I appreciate it. So, thank you again.
Okay, very good. Well, I will add to that my voice as well. Thanks to everybody for all the work that you did. I think it's an amazing job. The courthouse looks incredible. And I'm going to use my word from COVID updates. I was an elevator skeptic on the outset. And Mr. Nesterby convinced me that this was going to work in this place, and it does. It looks amazing. The elevator is a great addition. Looks like it's always been there.
It does.
And the work to get the courthouse in shape, just that building's ready for another 50 years of good service to our residents. So great job by all, and for the department heads to do what they did. It shows the best of us. Absolutely. During this process. A couple other things. We've got VA bonding discussions coming up in our next meeting, so be prepared for that. I'm putting together some materials for that to kick that discussion off. I'll be meeting with the city of Knoxville. I think I'm meeting with Aaron to talk about agreements and things like that, similar to what we did for Prairie Ridge, starting to put those drafts together. So I'll be doing that later on this week, early next week, kind of fitting it into Aaron's schedule. I've got an economic development meeting with a Knoxville group coming up. And then I'm headed to Des Moines for a meeting on Thursday with I think it's the new Senate finance person coming in to talk about the VA. So our lobbyists put that meeting together, so thanks to Kelly for doing that. And then there's also a access center meeting as well from a legislative standpoint. I won't be able to make that one, but Kelly will be there for that and will give me an update as that one and what the details on that. And Ed, I think you got an invite to that as well, if I remember right. So I think that's about it for me. So, all right. And if there's nothing else for the good of the order, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion, we adjourn.
Second?
McCombs?
Aye.
Ramey?
Aye.
Johnner?
Aye.
Good, thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you.